I'm Travis, and today is our Sunday Fun Day. We like to take myself and him and my buddy Sam and Jin. We travel around 3 or 4 different shops on a Sunday, check out the different product they brought in, new juices, mods, RDAs, so on and so forth, and just see what's new out there. All of these products we've purchased ourselves up to a certain point, and we intend to keep doing that. So all of these opinions are not slanted, it's just our honest opinion on the device itself. So that being said, Travis?
Um, some of you guys may have seen if you saw our first video, this being our second, we're going to touch today on the Aqua for rebuildable. We're also going to touch on Big Willies Custard. Those are going to be the two things we're going to cover today. For the Aqua, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you guys what the breakdown of the parts are, a real quick kind of how to assemble it, and then we're going to vape on it with the custard in it, give you guys an idea of one, what the Aqua is going to produce for you, and two, we're going to kind of break down the custard for you and let you know what it tastes like and what to expect. We're going to have a really quick vape. We want to thank Vape Central for letting us record in here today while they're open. So you may hear some customers in the background, but we appreciate you guys watching. We're gonna have a vape, and let's get started.
Hey guys, Marshall here with the Aqua review. These are all the components you're going to find in your box. It comes in the regular UVO box. It's about this big with a little slot in it. You have your 510 connector here, okay, and we'll explain that here in just a second. We have one connector, which is somewhat hard to see. That connector is going to be just for using on your 510 connector. And then we also have a plate here that is a flat plate, and that's for a hybrid. It'll hybrid onto your origin if you have one. Right here is your base component. Most people are familiar with this. It's got a couple of knurling nuts here. This is where you will be putting your coils onto. You have two small air holes, as you see right there and there. A couple of juice troughs, and we'll get into those in a second when I show you a pre-built one. An O-ring here for your bottom tank. And then this is the base, Delrin in brass. And there is a little silver pin right there, and that's actually the post right here. So that all being set on the base, this is your chimney section right here, which adapts onto your device right here, just like so. And we'll get into that. This is your tank. You have your UVO logo right here, and what UVO is it's unidentified vaping object. It looks a lot like a UFO, kind of their signature logo. This is the top cap, which on the Origin and on the Aqua both, it has that kind of unique circle cut with the slot around it. It's a different design that I really like. You have your thinner drip tip, which a lot of people like the comfort of it. Small hole on this side, so it keeps that vapor condensed, similar to like the kayfun would. I have your other drip tip, same thing, condensed right there. Put a wide bore here. And it comes with these two tips in the box, so you have a choice between the two. You have an extra 2 O-rings for this piece right here, so if this one breaks or is damaged, you have 2 replacements, which is nice. You have this black O-ring, which goes side by side with the top cap, and that is in case this is damaged. So they give you all the O-rings to replace any possible leaks. You know, these right here, and then these small guys right here, which is kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Those little guys are actually for down inside of this post right here. This is your positive post. And that insulator right here, that white piece, both of these screw out, the white piece pops out, and then there's 3 O-rings underneath that. And that's in case those get damaged. So let me go ahead and put this together real quick. I'm going to put it together in 510 mode, since that's how most of us are using it right now. So your connector screws into the base like so. Very simple. Your 510 connector goes on top of that. You just screw it on like so. The threads are very nice on these. It's not coarse or crunchy. You don't have issues with squeaking or anything of that nature. Now, as I said, you put your 2 coils in here, and then You're going to run your wicks down in these troughs. The chamber goes on top of there, just like so. Your tank piece is going to go logo down right in here, just like that. And then you're going to fill it right here. You're going to pour your juice straight down into there. Now, if you have a kayfun, you're familiar with this technique. We call it the kayfun tip here. What you want to do is flip this upside down. I wait about a second or two and then continue to thread it on the rest of the way. And what that does is that breaks a vacuum or any pressure that will build up in the tank if you were to tighten it down right here. So, that all being said, you pick your drip tip that you want, pop it on, stick it on your 510 device or Origin, as I said. This is hybrid. And take a quick vape on it. Let me go ahead and just run straight to a pre-built one. So as I was saying, your wicks go right down in those troughs, nice and pretty. Don't pack it too full, it'll restrict the wicking, but you don't want it too light to where it'll flood. So I like to make it flush with the threads themselves so that it's just perfect and it doesn't bog down any of the threads. With that all being said, that's the Aqua, compliments of Vape Central, and have a good day. We'll get back to you now. All right, we're back from the Aqua review.
Ooh, magic.
Yeah, no joke, right?
All right, so now that we've gone over the Aqua for you guys, we're going to vape on the Aqua. This is the Aqua.
Built together.
There it is.
That's fully assembled.
On a magneto, fully assembled. We're going to touch on a couple of things that you're going to want to know. First thing is, one thing you don't ever want to do is, let me grab this one here. Now, you've got adjustable airflow on this thing by spinning this top cap. One thing you don't want to do is you never want to back this all the way out. Otherwise, you're going to just spit juice all over yourself. And nobody likes that unless you're Sam.
And then he'll just lick it off his fingers and anything else that touches.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about the Aqua is the adjustable airflow. Oh, Jesus.
That's Jin and that's Sam.
I apologize.
That's our Sunday Fun Day, guys.
I have the Big Willies and the Aqua on the magneto right now, sitting at right about a 0.6. So we're going to go ahead and vape with the Big Willies and kind of go over it and let you guys know how it is. Also, keep in mind this is the Aqua that we just showed you, so this is going to be your vapor production.
This is not an Aqua.
The Big Willies comes in 30 mil and 120 mil bottles. It's not the easiest juice to find, but
I do have one location here on the West Coast that does sell Willies. The company is called This Old Vape Shop. If you go on their Facebook, you can order it online. It's facebook.com/This Old Vape Shop. If you contact him, he will do Facebook orders and mail to you when he has them available. As he said, they come in 30 and 120 ml bottles in various nicotine levels, 0, 6, 12, 18, and 24. The 6 and 0 are a little harder to come by. He does run out quick. So just keep that in mind. Be patient if you can with him. So on that note, go ahead.
We've vaped on quite a few different custards, you know, small private guys that make their own. There's probably about 6 or 7 that are decent. The one thing that I do like about the Big Willies Custard is that it's not overpowering. It's very subtle without a whole lot of vanilla. Now, don't get it and expect no vanilla and to get more of that pastry, because you are still going to get the vanilla. It's a 50-50 blend. Well, so you're going to get good vapor production, but you're also going to get good flavor with it. I personally feel like the custard sticks more towards the pastry side than the vanilla, which is good. I'm not a huge fan of vanillas. I feel like they can be a little bit harsh. They can kind of hit real hard. If you like a really strong throat hit, vanillas are gonna, you know, you're gonna lean towards vanilla more than the pastry. Very, very full flavor though. This is something that would be really good, you know, afternoon after you eat lunch, or at night after dinner, or a really late night vape. You know, with it being winter, I mean, even though we're in Arizona and winter means that it's going to get down to 50, you know, if you're sitting outside or inside by a fire, custard is great. It's just a brilliant vape.
On the custard, when you get them in the tanks and when you get them in the jennies, it does have a tendency to stick. The flavor tends to stick, similar to like fluid. If you're familiar with that, it lingers around in the tank. So even after you vaped it dry, you put a different juice in there, it will linger. So the best thing you can do is rinse your device really well. If you're running a plastic tank, it's a little harder to get it out. The RSST, for one example, the kayfun with the M tank or just the clear tank on it, it does tend to stick and stay around. Not necessarily a downside, but that comes with some juices. It also tends to be a bit dark when it sits for a while, so it can stain your wicks if it's been sitting for a long period of time, like a day or two. We've got a guy who's familiar with that. It penetrates through silver-plated contacts and tends to stain those. We ran into one incident with that on the RSST with the silver pin, but those are just minor downsides from not maintaining necessarily your RSST and keeping it clean on a weekly basis.
Now, one of the plus sides, for some people who know, Big Willies is supposedly has no diacetyl, which it is what it is. You know, some people claim that it causes cancer, other people don't. So that is one nice thing about it. Most custards are known to have the diacetyl in them. I do prefer the custard in a jenny as opposed to dripping it. Personal preference. I also prefer it with a tighter draw. You know, when you get that looser draw, I feel like you lose quite a bit of the flavor. Whereas with the tighter draw on the Aqua, if you see, I don't have a whole lot of the air holes showing there. I've got the draw pretty tight. So this isn't something that I use for, you know, getting that large cloud. This is something I use for flavor. I do it just for flavor. The nicotine on this is really nice too. For people, you know, there's a lot of guys and girls out there nowadays that are really kind of getting more towards vaping for flavor, not so much for the nicotine. Or if you're trying to quit smoking and you're cutting down on your nicotine, you know, maybe you started at an 18 and a 12 and a 6, and now you're down to 0 and 6 like I am. This is still really nice with 6% nicotine, 6 milligrams of nicotine. Even at 12, it's still really nice. And I'm down now to doing a lot of vaping at 0. I still do quite a bit at 6. I'm trying to cut down personally. So this is really good. It's definitely, I recommend anybody who likes the foody flavors. You know, if you like 5 ponds, what else would you put in that category?
As the custard or as the food?
Well, just with the foody flavor.
The 5 ponds is definitely one of them. Mostly, it's just your custards, your like your
anything pastry. Yeah, anything pastry flavored is really going to fall into this category. Even the coffee flavors, the cappuccino flavors, stuff like that. I kind of lump them all into the same category for a style of flavor, and this is at the top of my list. That's not really an avenue I go down very often. I typically stick to melons and fruit, but this is delicious. It's great. Just a really clean vape, not harsh, real smooth, full body, good vapor production. And as you see, I mean, even with the low vapor or the low air holes on this right now, I'm still getting pretty good, you know, vapor production. If I open them up a little bit, you can get a little bit more. But with this, I prefer that tighter draw, which is very good flavor. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and have our final vape, I think.
We're going to do a quick overview on the Aqua. Just real quick before that final vape, sorry to cut in there. Pros and cons on the Aqua. It's a fantastic device. I do like it. As far as flavor production, the kayfun and the Aqua are pretty comparable. I do feel like the kayfun produces a little bit more flavor out of it, but not quite as much vapor. So it's a bit of a toss-up in that perspective of things. Not necessarily a negative. If you don't fill it right, it'll flood. That's why I mentioned the kayfun tip. If you tip it upside down when the top cap is halfway on or more, and then slowly screw it down, that prevents the leaking.
Pretty much what you want to do is you want to get it just to that O-ring seat so that you're not going to spill your juice everywhere. Tilt it, give it a second, and then tighten it back up. You know, since you mentioned it, for guys and girls and vapors that are into Jennies or getting into Jennies, you know, I was a dripper for a long time, just recently getting into Genesis style. The Aqua is going to be a little bit higher on the price point.
175 is what it runs, the MSRP.
Yeah, it's roughly about that. You can find it cheaper online, just like you can everything else sometimes. But that's about what you're going to spend for a Genesis, for a good Genesis. They also are serial numbered. Let's see if you guys can see this. There you go. So it's one of the only atomizers that's serial numbered now, even though there's more and more that are doing it, still very few. For the money, it's worth it. I think it's a better than, you know, it's a better Genesis than the RSST by far. It's more money, but it's going to be a better build. It's going to be a better vape, all around, just a better experience. So with that being said, you know, that's my opinion on it. I like it. I enjoy it. It's fun. Pick one up, Vape Central. You can check them out on Facebook as well. I believe they have a website.
Yes, they do. It's on their card. We'll post the link below if you need the information, as well as have it on the video.
So
there you go. On the vapor production, would you say, you know, for a tank style, in a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10? That's kind of where I'm sitting on it.
Yeah, for a Genesis, I would definitely put it about, you know, an 8. You know, if you're used to smoking on dripping atomizers where you're just getting ridiculous amounts of cloud, and then you switch over to a Genesis, don't have the same expectations. You're not going to get it. You know, but it's just completely different kinds of builds. That's not to say that you cannot get vapor production out of a Jenny, because you can. But that's not really what they're made for. I use Genesis style stuff for flavor, not for clouds. So, guys, gals, keep it classy, vapors.